Hi friends, welcome to Read Aloud time on our Flipgrid. So today I have a new story for us to read, and this story is called Charlie Anderson. If you take a look at the cover, this is Charlie. He's a cat. And in Charlie Anderson, two sisters welcome a new cat named Charlie. And when Charlie doesn't come home, the girls, they begin to worry. So they search for him and discover that he belongs to another family. So we're going to get to see who gets to keep Charlie. So let's find out how they solve this problem. Charlie Anderson. This story was written, so she's the author, Barbara Abercrombie, and illustrated by Mark Graham. So he drew the pictures. Charlie Anderson. One cold night, a cat walked out of the woods, up the steps, across the deck, and into the house where Elizabeth and Sarah lived. He curled up next to their fireplace to get warm. He watched the 6 o'clock news on TV. He tasted their dinner and tried out their beds. He decided to stay, and the girls named him Charlie. Every morning, Charlie would disappear into the woods again. So Charlie Anderson walks into Elizabeth and Sarah's home one night, and they decide to take care of him. I bet he thought, this home is warm and comfortable, and there's food to eat. I'll stay the night and go back home in the morning. At night when he came home, Elizabeth brushed him, cleaned him, fed him dinner, and made a space for him at the front of her bed. He liked Elizabeth's bed the best, and sometimes she would wake up in the middle of the night to hear him purring in the dark. So a purr is a sound that a cat makes when it feels loved. And I think Elizabeth and Sarah were very excited when they found Charlie. Maybe that's why they brushed him and kept him clean and fed him dinner. Sarah called him baby and dressed him up in doll clothes. And when it snowed, Elizabeth and Sarah's mother heated Charlie's milk before he left for the woods. He grew fatter and fatter, and every day he purred louder and louder. On weekends, the girls stayed with their father and stepmother in the city. They wanted to bring Charlie with them, but their mother said he would miss the woods. The woods is a place that has a lot of trees, and some animals live there, like foxes and squirrels. Charlie's a country cat, she says. So that means that he likes to be out in the wild, not in the city where there's tall buildings and sidewalks. The girls think that the girls and their mother think that he's a country cat and that he lives in the wood. I think Charlie is a cat that likes to try some new stuff. So let's see what happens here. One stormy night, Charlie didn't come home. Elizabeth and Sarah stayed on the deck and called his name, but no Charlie. Where was he? Why wouldn't he come out of the woods? Was he all right? One stormy night, Charlie doesn't come home, and the girls, they're worried. I think they're worried because Charlie might be stuck outside in the rain. What do you think? All night long, Elizabeth listened to the rain beating on the roof and the wind rattling the windows. Was he cold? Was he hurt? Where was Charlie? In the morning, Elizabeth and Sarah looked for him. They asked the lady down the road if she'd seen their cat. She said no, and she offered them cookies, but they were too worried to eat anything, even the chocolate chip cookies. They went to a new house on the other side of the woods. "Have you seen our cat?" they asked. "His name is Charlie. He's very fat and has gray striped fur." "We have a cat with gray striped fur," said the man, "but his name is not Charlie, it's Anderson. He's upstairs asleep on our bed." They heard a meow, and down the steps came a very fat cat with gray striped fur. "Charlie!" Sarah and Elizabeth cried. "No, that's Anderson," said the woman. "We've had him for 7 years. Right, Anderson?" He looked at her and he began to purr. "But it's Charlie," Sarah said. He looked at her and purred louder. "Is he ever here at night?" Elizabeth asked. "Anderson is a hunter," said the man. "He prowls in the woods at night." So that means that he walks the woods at night. "Charlie sleeps in my bed at night," Elizabeth said, "and he leaves for the woods after breakfast." "Anderson comes home at breakfast time," said the woman. "He leaves right after dinner." They all looked at the cat, and he sat at their feet, very happy and very fat. They call him Charlie Anderson now. So it sounds like Charlie was going to both of their homes. Sometimes in bed at night, Elizabeth asked him, "Who do you love best, Charlie Anderson?" And she can hear him purring in the dark. And just like that, Elizabeth and Sarah, Charlie has 2 houses, 2 beds, 2 families who love him. He's a lucky cat. The end. So he has 2 homes, just like some of you all might have 2 homes. But I want you to send a video in, and I want you to tell me, why did Charlie leave Elizabeth and Sarah every morning? So read the story and tell me in a video, why did Charlie leave Sarah and Elizabeth's house every morning?